an interesting thing happens when Europeans enter the Middle East. So when Napoleon reaches the shores of Egypt in the end of the 18th century, he brings with him already the winds of the French Revolution with the ideas of freedom, of equality. Remember that one of the things that the French Revolution did was to emancipate the Jews, to make them equal at least in legal terms. So when Napoleon reaches the Arab world, first the influence of the French and then the British conquer the entire area, they bring with them these notions of equality, of freedom, and it's impossible for them to accept that under Muslim rule, Jews are considered to be dhimmis. So they abolish, or at least they pressure the Turkish Sultan, the Ottoman Sultan, to abolish the status of dhimmi. And that's exactly what's happening. The Sultan in Istanbul abolishes the status, the inferior status of the Jews in the middle of the 19th century, and in fact makes them equal. So all of a sudden, you see a very interesting phenomena, which is, by the way, quite similar to what's happening in Europe. In Europe, in Germany, in France, in many other countries, you start seeing Jews flourish. You start seeing Jews become part of normal society, so to speak. You start seeing them doctors, lawyers, participate, live in the cities. Some of them become diplomats. They become part of, let's say, normal society. Similar phenomena happens, for example, in Iraq later on in the 20th century, in Egypt from the mid-19th century. So slowly you see Jews in the large cities, in Baghdad, in Aleppo, in Cairo, in Alexandria, in Casablanca. You start seeing Jewish, very urban communities, speaking languages, for example, speaking French, a very strong French influence. They become more middle class. They become part of normal society. So everything is good, right? Everything seems like on a good path. The only problem is that it's a foreign influence who makes the Jew be equal. So how does a Muslim see all this happening? So it's not only that the Jews are now equal to a Muslim, everything here happened because of the English, because of the French. So it's not some kind of an internal evolution inside Muslim societies. In Europe, what happened is that Christian societies went through some kind of a process. There was some kind of evolution, the French Revolution, etc., the Enlightenment. All these factors helped the Jews become equal, at least, let's say, socially and legally. We know that in Europe, the end wasn't so, or at least it wasn't so bright. But in the Muslim world, what's happening is that it's not Muslim internal evolution. It is something that is being pressured from the outside. So it is perceived as an injustice. If justice is that the Muslim is here and the Jew is here, then this equality between Jews and Muslims is an injustice. And this injustice was done by the British and by the French. So the Jews are now being seen as traitors, being seen as collaborators with the English and the French. And remember, we're talking about people who were there before the Muslims, people who were there before the Arabs, okay? But all of a sudden, they are foreigners. So now, fast forward